Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of My TV Journey with Lola. I am your host, Lola. And thank you so much for tuning in. We are back with another episode. And remember, this podcast is about celebrating the greatest minds behind your favorite TV show, content, and film. And we are global, baby. We are going all around the world. We're talking to creatives from Africa, from the Middle East, from Europe, and even from Americas. And in today, we are in the Middle East with an amazing guest who I'm really excited about. If you cannot tell by my smile, the super duper and amazing Karim.
Thank you for having me, Lola.
Thank you. And before I get into the questions, this is a part of the podcast where I hype up my guest a little bit. I basically read out your CV. Oh. I love it. It's my favorite part because it honestly feels like I'm bragging about every single one of my guests. So we have Karim, who has over 26 years of experience in the Middle East producing and directing. He is what you call an all-rounder. And that is the truth. So he's a visionary filmmaker who has worked on award-winning commercials, music videos, TV series, feature films, and also, like me, he also worked in TV. So no matter where you are in the sector of TV and film, he's probably worked there. Yes. Am I correct?
Yes. Pretty much everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's an all-rounder who has worked in Egypt, UAE, and in Saudi. He was also the director of the Netflix film 1111. Yes. And let me tell you something about 11 because I watched it last night. It is an amazing film. And I can see why this film was #1 on Netflix for 32 days. So if you haven't watched it, you need to check it out. Also, his other film, Dracu Ra, which is also amazing, really showcases his ability to push the boundaries. After watching his first film and watching Dracu Ra, I was like, the genres are completely different. And it just shows you how much of an all-rounder, how much of a visionary he really is. Okay, so get ready because I am super excited for this episode for us to have deep and diverse conversation about his work and what he's gonna do next.
You should see the third film. It's not out yet, but it was shot in Turkey, so that's like the fourth country in that sense.
Oh my God!
It's called Mahmoud Makfoul, and we shot it last year in Turkey. So I started like pre-production in February.
Yeah.
Like the script work, and then the pre-production started in April all the way until September. Shooting in Istanbul. It was a fun ride, so much fun. And that's coming out hopefully next September, 2025.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. Oh my God, if I knew, I would have put that in the introduction as well.
Well, it's not yet released. It's just on IMDb still. It's called My Treat, but it's called Mahmoud Makfoul in Arabic, which is a Saudi phrase.
Yeah. So one of the questions I had for you was what is next? But we're going to hold that till the end because I actually want to start from the beginning. We're going to start right at the beginning. What drew you to producing and directing? What drew you to this field?
Well, that's a very long story. It's a very long story. It's talking 26, 27 years. So I started in this field in 1997. I was in college back then, and I joined the film school for a few months, and then I just left. And then I joined a software engineering major university, which is something super random and has nothing to do with what I'm doing now. But back then, my father had a friend who owned a news gathering facility agency in Egypt. It was called Video Cairo. So back in the days in 1997, where internet was not yet a thing, the news channels, so CNN, Al Jazeera, NHK, CCTV, etc., they didn't have like offices and big buildings everywhere in the world. And all these channels, they rented like rooms at Video Cairo SAT, which is Video Cairo building. And this is where I first joined, and I knew nothing whatsoever about this whole business. So I literally started by, rolling cables and gathering things. And my first assignment was ever being an auto cue operator. So I'm just operating the auto cue for the anchor presenter, whoever is talking to the camera, and just like, slowly doing it. And it's because my knowledge of computer, they had a problem with the computer itself, and then they called me and they were like, "Can you fix this for us?" And then I fixed it for them. It was a Windows 95, I think, something like this. And I fixed it for them. And then they were like, "Oh, can you stay in the gallery for a while?" And I think that's when I started falling in love with the whole thing. Like seeing how things happen in the background that's totally different than what people see on television. So there's like a beehive kind of thing in the background, and I love that. And I used to I don't work for 8 hours or 9 hours. I work like 24 hours. I just live there. I don't want to go home because this is like where I felt myself. And from there, I started doing, because you're there. So you go into the studio. One day, the camera guy is sick and there's no, "Karim, can you stand here on the camera?" And back in the days, studio cameras were like huge. And they have like focus and the zoom in and the thing, and you have to move it, and it's like on big wheels and stuff like that. And there's like, just don't do anything. Just stay there and make sure this thing, when it's red, don't touch anything. If you ask you to zoom in, just click on this thing and do that. And I spent I think from 1997 until 2003 when I left Video Kairoursat. But when I left, I was super ready. I moved to a TV channel, which was one of the first satellite networks in Egypt on the Nilesat. That did everything from it was a general entertainment channel. And I went there, I was directing 4 or 5 shows. 2 of them were live on air. Yeah, I was like, and and also I used to, and we directed a lot until there was this big incident of when the US attacked Iraq, and because it's all news. So we launched a news show in 24 hours. We were like, "Oh, we have to have this thing on air." We find a presenter from my news days. I called her and I was like, "Come join us." So it's like a roller coaster ride that just the moment it starts, you don't stop. And so on and so on and so on. Then I went into the music videos industry. I assisted director a lot of directors back then in Egypt, because music videos in Egypt was huge. From 2004 maybe until 2008, I was doing music videos, commercials. And then I just moved to Dubai to TV again.
Yeah. You have had such a diverse background in TV, and you've worked in different sectors. What has kept you passionate about staying in TV and film? Was there an end goal when you started? Were you like, "I want to become this in the next 30 years"? What was the dream?
So here's the thing. I always loved telling stories. And this, I found out that because when you work, again, the news was not just news, because we used to do documentaries and docuseries and stuff like that before it was even called docuseries. and I loved the ability to put a story together using footage. And because this is part of what I did in Video Cairo, I learned to be an editor as well. I learned to be a sound guy. I learned to do everything it has to do with media from scratch. And I used to do camera work. Sometimes we go out on an incident, whatever, and there's an extra camera. Karim, take the camera, and so you just press rec and shoot. It's news, But this is how you learn. You're just, as we say in the Egyptian, you're just thrown in the middle of the sea, and you just have to survive. And eventually it just worked out for me. So back to your question, telling a story with editing, because you get some footage and you have to tell a story with this footage. And at a certain point you find that if you edit it in a different way, it would tell a different story. But then if you start it in that way, it could be an emotional story, but then you can make it a thriller story if you say it in a different way with a different music, etc. And then maybe this is when I started exploring with things. And when I went to music videos, I think this is when I knew I wanted to focus on directing as a career. But then because I have the organizational thing in me, the Virgo part of me, which is the production side, is being organized and have the mindset of like building and having like how do you call it, processes and methodologies of things, etc. And again, you reached a point when you've done everything, so now you are capable of being a producer, not just a creative producer, but also as a financer, etc. So answering your question, I think it's an early age, maybe the year 2000, when I felt like, yes, this is what I want to do. These are the stories I want to tell. And again, maybe with everything that I'm doing, it doesn't still show a certain style. I feel that I still have a long way to, and a lot of other things to give, especially in film.
Excited for what's coming.
Yeah.
And another question I have for you, which is it's more of a personal question for me, because I work in TV, so my background is news. I started with BBC, ITV in London, and now I work with NBC in London as well. So my whole background has been news, and then about 2 years ago, I made a little like sideway curve into travel series. So I did a travel series with Michael Palin. So one of the, I would not say troubles, or it is a trouble. One of the things I have is that I too want to learn everything. But now, with money involved, I feel like a lot of people are like, you need to know how to do everything. I do want to know, but I'm often shut down being like, no, like we need someone, like nobody wants to take a risk anymore. Nobody wants to, did you find that? And how did you overcome that when you were trying to learn everything? Nobody really wants to like trust you. They want to make sure that you have done this before. So even now when I apply for stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm a producer. I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. It could be about soap. They'll be like, have you ever produced a soap advert? And then they'll be like, well, this person, that. So how were you able to sell yourself for people to give you a chance so you can try different things and learn different things? Because that is a struggle.
It is a struggle, but I'll tell you something. I think it's two things. I think I was lucky to start with, and that's not bad to say. But also, I think in my era, and I don't want to feel old saying that, but I think in my era, we had a lot of opportunities given to us. I was lucky to be working at Video Cairo in the beginning, because Video Cairo was like a school. We always call Video Cairo a school. And there was always the opportunity to do things. But if I did not have the mindset and mentality to be open to do things and to get squished and to not sleep and to not go have fun with my friends or travel or do this or that, I wouldn't have been able to do everything else. Because here's the thing, you are in a place where you're doing one thing, but you can still do many other things if you want to. It's you who's going to push yourself to actually acquire more knowledge. You can always ask. I'm a guy who always ask, regardless of who you are, regardless of who am I asking. I always ask. I remember quite well when I started learning edit. And this is a story I tell many people that I work with, because I have another side business. I don't know if you Googled this or not, but
I did. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah. So I always try to mentor as much as possible, but I had a lot of mentors. And my mentors will never come to me and say, Karim, come, we will mentor you. You always have to go and ask them. And my first encounter with this was, forget about the years now, but it was also in before the year 2000. There was an editor. His name was Sharif Al-Mughazi. He's an editor-director. He's a very, very, very good guy when it comes to like documentaries, and he has his vision and he has his way of thinking. And we still meet up until today. I met him like a few months ago by coincidence at NBC. And I was sitting like at the news desk, and he was inside one of those glass rooms, because edit suites back then were like literally two Betacam machines connected to each other with two monitors. You put the tape here, you put the tape here, you record here, you take some footage from here, you throw it, you get another shot, you put another shot. And it was linear editing. We didn't have computers back then. And I was sitting out there and looking at him, how fast he is, efficient, rolling the thing, doing this, doing that. And I was like so fascinated by how the thing is going. And then he stood up. He was like always like this, and he stood up and he looked at me, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" It was like 4 a.m. And he knows who I am. I mean, we're working together in the same place. And I was like, "Nothing. I finished the studio. I finished the studio like 11 p.m. And I was just there watching him do his thing, and it was like, I'm watching you." He's like, "Yeah, why don't you come sit inside with me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I went inside with him. He's like, "Do you know what I'm doing?" He's like, "Yeah, you're editing." He's like, "No, do you know what I'm doing?" And then he started explaining this to me. A month later, I'm editing my own reports.
Yeah.
So he had the tolerance to teach me, but I also asked for it. And it's not just about this, it's everything, Lola. It's everything it's not manifest, because everybody wants to be, and this is why I was telling you, it's like the era thing. Everybody now wants to be here all of a sudden. Nobody wants to like take the whole...
Do the work.
And you don't have to do the work in years. You can do the work, but be proactive about it. I'm a very proactive guy. I'm a let's do it. I don't want to say the other word. But I read it once in a Richard Branson book. It's like, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. If it didn't work, fine, then do it again. If it didn't work, fine, do it again. And just ask and just find mentors and just, this is how it works. So I've done a lot of things because I just asked. We go out on the field. I'm doing something, but there's this sound guy who's holding the boom and doing whatever. And I start asking him, how does it work? What do you connect here? What does this? What do you do with the wind? And he tells me. And eventually one day I was the guy holding the boom because something happened and we needed another one in another place. And I was like, yeah, guys, I can do it. And we just did it. So it's not just like I'm going to work in a place and then I can do this, but yeah, they don't want to take a risk with me. But if you're there, just be proactive about it and do it. All of a sudden you will just climb the ladder and be that. I never graduated from film school, and now I have like 3 films under my belt and a few production titles, etc., and a lot of music videos and a lot of commercials. So it's not about what you study; it's just about what you're the one who is going to do this for yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. So this is like...
True.
Kind of my, yeah.
Yeah, no, very insightful. I'm getting really push yourself and put yourself out there and ask. And even if they say no, ask again or ask somebody else to help you out.
You'll be surprised. No one would ever say no.
Okay.
No one would ever say no. This is the thing. This is the beauty of it. I never asked someone who told me no. Nobody ever asked me something and I told them no. Ever, 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 ever. I would just say... yes, let me teach you this. I like to do workshops. I'm doing like a film directing workshop now. I'm just writing it down. I'm doing it with the Abu Dhabi guys. And that's the beauty of like teaching. I sat with a friend a few weeks ago, and it was part of the networking that we do on LinkedIn. And he was saying he gained a lot by just connecting with people, even if you're not in the same field or whatever, you're just connecting, and then eventually something will grow out of it. Even if some people come to connect with you and you don't want them now, you will eventually need them someday, and they would...
You have to be open.
You always have to be open.
Yeah. And I'm learning from you. Say yes to everything.
Yeah, say yes.
I love your energy, honestly. I've said it before we even started the podcast. Like, he is such easiest guest ever. Everything, he's like, yeah, don't just send me the questions. Yeah. I love it. Like, you are just you're very cool. That's the word for it. You're very cool, and like, you're just like, let's do it. Open to new experiences, and yeah.
I always like to connect with people. I always like to get to know new people. Like when you send me, like, I send you the questions, like, what for?
Yeah.
What are you going to ask me that's not something I do? Or even if you ask me something that I don't know about, I will just think about it.
Yeah. And then I want to ask you this question. So you have worked in the many, many sectors, which we've mentioned. What's your favorite?
Film.
That's your baby?
No. So here's the thing. Again, the beauty of working behind the camera in all aspects and in all domains and in everything is amazing, because there is beauty and there is passion behind not sleeping for days and having this commitment and having this. I always say it to the new generation because somehow they lack it. The discipline. What I mean is, regardless of what you're doing, film or TV or anything, there is the beauty of what you're doing in the background because you're creating something. In the end, people are watching 30 seconds or 1 minute or 1 hour or 2 hours, but you've been working on it for months and months. We've all been there, done that. But for me, film is a process that takes longer time, a lot of time we spend on the script. And sometimes we're too blind to see because sometimes we're so convinced of something. Yet when we go on the ground to shoot it, it's not exactly what you were looking at. And then you start, because I always say it, and I said it many times, and I say it to my assistants as well, our job is creative problem solving and decision making. This is the job. Everything else has been done in pre-production, but on the ground, we're creative problem solving and taking decisions. Because again, that's the beauty of it. You face a problem, let's fix it together. We face a problem, let's find a solution together.
I think that's a characteristic of people that work in film, that work in news, I'm going to say, because just hearing how you talk, it's like how me and my colleagues talk when we're in news, because you have to have this tenacity. Like you're going for a particular story. You're there with the cameraman. You're there with sound. There's no do-overs. You have to be on air at 6 p.m. regardless of anything. You need a story, and you have to shoot that story and make sure it's a good story. You can't go back to the newsroom and be like, hey, guys, sorry, and finally, or maybe the story we've been didn't work out. What are they going to put on TV? That like drive and tenacity to make something out of nothing, I feel like news people really, like, it gives us a thick skin. We really do have that. So just hearing you talk, I'm like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from totally.
Yeah. In TV, I worked with Amani Musa, who's an amazing executive producer. She used to do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Deal or No Deal, and all those big shows on NBC. And she's been with NBC for like 25 years. She's one of the gurus when it comes to like production and TV production. And I worked with her a lot. And she always says this about me. She's like, Karim is like the show must go on kind of character. It's like, regardless, we're going to have this thing on air, deal with it. So I always have this attitude kind of, it's going to happen, you know? And so with film, you have this huge time frame to be able to go into the roller coaster of ups and downs. Hey, we're happy. Hey, we have a problem. Hey, we're happy. Hey, we have a problem. Lovely, great acting. Oops, the camera didn't roll. Oops, you always have this ongoing narrative of ups and downs. And then in the end, you just watch the film. I always have this moment of, tears, a little bit of tears, like a bit emotional when finally you're watching the film for like, you press play. This happened a few days ago when I was watching the third film. That's the beauty of it. Of course, all the others like series, and I did not direct a series yet. I produced a lot, but then it was also the same workflow. You just go through the whole thing, and I just take off a hat and put another hat.
And that's why I made this podcast, because I was like, I don't think people understand, like people who are not in our industry understand the amount of love, the amount of stress, the amount of just like you just fixing things, what actually goes into making the content they watch. Like, you watch it, it's great, it's lovely, oh my God, this is a great film, but do you know that I had a correspondent that nearly died of heat stroke, or I had a actor that didn't want to shoot this scene, like, honestly. So that's why I created this podcast, because I we have so many stories to tell, and the behind the scenes is what really like keeps you going for the next project, that feeling, that drive that you're like, oh yeah, okay, I want to see the next one.
Back in the days when we had DVDs, so there was like the movie DVD, and then there was a DVD, a commentary by the director, like at each and every single part, like what happened at each and every single part during the movie. And I feel when I'm watching a movie I made or a series or whatever, I feel I can tell a story at each and every single second. It's not only me, of course. It's like every director and every crew member has a story to tell. Some are good, some are bad, some are like
Yeah.
whatever they are. But it is all about the stories that happen in the background that could be another show itself.
Literally,
Yeah.
a whole other series, a
Yeah,
whole complete
absolutely.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm enjoying this chat so much. I want to talk more, but I'm like, my next question. Okay, 11/11, amazing film. Amazing,
Thank you.
amazing,
Thank
amazing,
you.
brilliant. And I'm gonna say this again for those who didn't know. At the top of the program, where I said it was #1 for 32 days on Netflix.
Yeah.
Amazing. How did that feel? What did that success mean to you after just seeing?
Look, the story of 11/11 itself is a bit different. So I was not going to do 11/11 to start with. It wasn't there on the radar. We were doing a totally different film, Ayman and I, the producer, and this will bring me to the part about being proactive, because sometimes you would just be stuck in a place you're waiting for things to come to you, where you actually have to go and do things yourself. And this I'm telling a lot of people in this industry, especially the young ones, do your film. You don't need anybody to do the film for you. You need to do your film, even if you're shooting it on a phone. Now we have amazing quality phones. You can just shoot a film. If you have a story you want to tell, get your actors, do it bad, and then you're going to do it good. Robert Rodriguez did the Desperado, and then it was a short thing, and then they gave him money to do the big film. So it's just do the film. 11/11 was sort of like that, because I quit my corporate, because I had like a few years of corporate, and then I quit my corporate job, and I took my bonus and end of service, and I met with my friend producer, and we put the finance and the budget for the film, and we were like, let's do this film. But then we had a hurdle with the actor who had another show to shoot, and the schedule was not working. And I was like, guys, if I don't do a film now, I'm going to spend the money.
Blow all the money in my account.
Yeah, so I need to make a movie now. And I called a few friends, and then one of them was Yasser Abdelbasid. I called him, I was like, dude, do you have any film ready now? I want to read a few of your scripts. Da, da, da. And then he was like, yeah, there's this. I was like, there's that. There's this. Tell me the log line. And then he said, did you read my 11/11 novel? And I was like, no, I didn't read it. So he sent me a first draft film that he wrote for it. I read it, and I was like, dude, I love the idea, but let's rewrite it. And then we spent like a few months rewriting it. And this is how it all started. But 11/11 for me it is so me when it comes to like what I love about directing and telling stories, because I love sophisticated stories. I love philosophy, and I love philosophical drama in that sense. And you can interpret it in many ways. It's not my 100% perfect film, because again, it was my first film. I love it. It has a certain part here, but I think I could have done a lot better if I had more time. And when we released it in the box office, it was not successful. In Egypt, it took a few weeks to actually make a few millions, Egyptian, not dollars. And so it was a bit discouraging, but I knew why. Again, it's a very philosophical film for box office. For cinema goers in Egypt, they would rather go to comedies, etc. And it was distributed at this time with 5 other comedy films in the same time. So it didn't get like the fair share. But then when it was released on Netflix, I was like, whoa. And then I started getting like a lot of messages on LinkedIn from people like in Mexico, in Japan, and they were all like congratulating me on the film. They watched it, they liked it, and I was like, oh, this actually worked. So again, sometimes they say, yes, this film would not work in theatrical, and it's much better on streaming, because on streaming, you actually go to the movie in streaming, and if you don't like it, you just skip. In theaters, you're going to pay for it and book a chair and go and do this and that. So I think that was like, and even maybe the moviegoers, again, as I said, they would just rather go entertain themselves rather than watch something philosophical or drama or whatever. They just want the entertainment rather than.
Yeah, it's for you on like a fun day out.
Yeah, but it was, yeah, but I loved it. And this film what actually got me Dracu Ra, which was my second film. I was contacted by the producers and they were like, yeah, congrats on 11/11. We have something, but it's comedy. It has nothing to do with with the philosophical thing. It was a vampire comedy thing, which is so cool. Yeah, Dracu Ra is
so
a very,
very fun.
Dracu
I
Ra is
watched
a
the trailer. It's very fun.
Yeah, Dracu Ra is a very funny because the story itself is funny.
Yeah.
And the guys are like SNL guy, like the actors. So it's like they are on another level of comedy. But then I always wanted to tone them down. Everything we always had this fight. It's like I'm toning them down, and they just go a little bit, and you just have to tone because the story itself is so scary. It's like vampires are originally pharaonic, so we changed the methodology of the vampires. The mythology of the vampires, and recreated our own based on the pharaohs, which was a bit weird. But it's on streaming now. It's on Younger. You can watch it.
Okay. No, I saw the trailer. I was like, this is so fun. Like sometimes I'll go with my mom and my sisters and we'll have a great time. Like it seems like a great time.
It was a hilarious film to shoot. We had a lot of fun shooting it and building a lot of sets because it was all built.
Yeah.
Because we were not able to shoot in the Egyptian Museum, for example, or all this. So we had to literally build mummies and do. So it was fun.
And I was going to ask you, so the 11/11, you said in theaters, you know, it didn't get it didn't reach the expectation that you wanted. So how did you then pivot to Netflix? Like, how did you then say, okay, let's push this to Netflix, or did Netflix reach out to you guys? Like, what was that process like?
No, usually when you release theatrical release, you have like a first window and a second window and all this. And we licensed it. We licensed it to a company that gave the first window to Netflix and then gave the second window to Shahid and go on. It's now on Yango as well. So it's like on all platforms, all streaming platforms in the region. So yeah, that was a fun thing too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then again, now let's talk a bit about money because you mentioned money earlier.
money is the thing. Yeah.
So budgets are not as big as they used to be anymore. Well, in my line, I don't know about you, but in my line of work, especially in London, our budget is like, it's really coming down.
Yeah.
So for you, do you have that problem now that you're being approached for work, but like the budget they have for the film is smaller? Or do you think it's quite the same? Like it's been going on well? And then what is the largest budget you've ever had? You don't have to say what it is, and what is the smallest budget you've ever had to work with?
Well, here's the thing. If you do apples to apples, because again, Egyptian pound has been devaluated drastically over the past 5 years. And when I produced 11 and directed 11/11, it was 2001. The dollar value was 15 Egyptian pounds. So $1 is 15 Egyptian pounds. So I would tell you we produced it for $1 million. So $1 million back then was not, it's of course in the US and the UK, that's nothing. But for us, it was a big amount. And today, if I tell you I want to produce a film for $1 million in Egypt, which is going to be equivalent to 50 million Egyptian pounds, 50. That's the devaluation. So you can still produce a film for like $50 million. The biggest budget I worked with is Mahmoud Mahfouz, is the last film I shot last year in Istanbul. It's a Saudi, Turkish, Egyptian film, so it's like huge. And we were shooting 4 weeks in Istanbul and another week in Saudi, so it was like a big project. But again, with budgets, yes, there are a lot of budget cuts on film, and not just film. It's generally because it's the supply and demand thing. So the streamers are the streamers. We have a few. It's like we have this saying, yani, count your goats. You only have 4 or 5 streamers. two of them that pay a lot of money, the others don't. And then the two that pay a lot of money, now there's like, why would it pay? So they would say, I'm only going to take it for this amount. And you're just going to have to deal with it. How are you going to deal with it? You're going to go to the crew and tell them, oh, this is what we have. You're going to go to the director and tell them, we can't shoot in 6 weeks. We're going to have to shoot in 4 weeks. And because this is what you're selling it for, back in the days, producers used to own the IP, produce their film, and make their money ongoing in perpetuity. Now it's different. Now everybody wants to do like the quick turnaround. So I produce the film, but I pre-sell it, so I know how much I'm making before I produce it. And most of the producers, they don't inject their own money in it. They don't finance it themselves. So I'm going to go to Lola and tell her, Lola, can you give me 200,000? She's like, how much are you going to give me back? And so it's pure business, which is fine, because this is how it is.
Yeah.
But it's now because the streamers are not paying as much, everything else goes down, because again, the streamers are not making money as much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just the whole snowball kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we always have smart production ideas. Remember when I'm telling you it's creative problem solving, you always have to come up with another smart idea that would fix this. So it's instead of flying to London to shoot a scene there, so we can shoot it on a volume screen here and do this and do that, maybe rent a car that's driving the other way, or maybe flip it in post. So you always find a way to do it, but we'd rather always have like the big budget first, and then let's go down from there. Yeah. But rather than starting cheap, you know.
Yeah. Tell me what your creative process is like. You've received a script from me. You love it. Now, what do you do next?
So, okay. So let's discuss this as an Arabic script, because it's different if it's an English script. I'm writing a few English scripts as well now, but because I'm a bit. So it's not about being foreign educated, but I think mostly in English. It's like Arabic is my first language, but it's somehow second language. But anyway, so when I get a script, and this happened with all the film, I get a script, I read it. First, I like it or not. Can I tell this story or not? And then I go through the characters, understand the characters more, and understand, would this character do this or not? So I try to have this discussion with the writers first. But I have this thing that I always have to write my draft, which is like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It annoys some people. But
I was going to say, do producers, do writers, the script writers like that?
So here's what I do. I ease it in. Okay. But how I do, because here's the thing. Sometimes, no matter how I read a lot of scripts, and no matter how good of a writer you are, some writers are brilliant. I've read a lot of like American writers, like their films. It's like pure script, and you see everything, you visualize everything, and you know, like it's not off topic, but it's just a side topic. You know, when you read a novel and then you watch the film and then you say, no, I like the book better.
Yeah.
And this is mostly because we all imagine and we all see things our way. So you would read the book and interpret it in a way. The dragon flies and then does this, and then the moon with the mist of blah, blah, blah does this. You start imagining this world in your head. I would imagine it in a different way. Maybe my daughter would imagine it in a totally different way. But then the director who actually read this imagined it in a way and put it on screen. So he might have imagined it my way. That's why I'm going to like it. And you're not going to like it. And most of the time, it happens most of the time. So this happens with the script as well, because I might see it in a way the writer didn't see it this way at all. And that's when they might say, oh, he's not the good guy to direct it. And that's or we would just find a middle ground to just rewrite. I rewrite the scenario part, which is basically what's happening I don't interfere much in dialogue. Sometimes I interfere in dialogue on set. So I would say, why don't you say this instead?
Yeah.
This happens most of the time. But I try to finish everything on the script. So when we finish the script, and then we go into pre-production, like break down the script, and I sit with my assistants. And this is the fun part, because this is where the creative solving problems come. I had this with my assistants in Turkey, with Alp and Ines. We were like going through the scenes. It's like, how are we going to solve this? Because the location has nothing to do with what's written. And I'm going to have to write to location now, because sometimes you can't really get everything that's written. It's written in a way that it doesn't make sense. You've scouted, and you found a lot of locations. But then you reach a certain location that you say, yes, this is the location. I have this thing that I rewrite the script based on the geography of the location. So that when anybody reads it, they know what's happening, and then they can imagine, they see the picture. She's going to enter from here, and then she's going to scream. She's going to look to her left and see the door.
The door is actually there. So
the door is actually there. And then the guy slams the door, enters, she's pushed against the blah, blah, blah. And so whenever you're reading this, it's on location. So I write, like, the shooting draft is mostly based on the location scouting that we do. And then we break it down, and then we put the schedule, which is most of the time a hectic and crazy schedule, especially when we were in Turkey.
Turkey in itself is a chaotic. Istanbul is a bit chaotic.
It's not chaotic. I come from Cairo, so
yeah.
you can't compare. But I mean, no, they have unions there, and unlike Egypt, so we have unions as well, but they have like the 12 hours working rules, so they're so strict about it, and like the 6 hours break after 6 hours and all that. We don't really do that. We do it in Egypt, but it's like so lenient. So we have like 14 hours of shooting, 15 including break, and we break after 6 hours, but if I break after 7, it's fine.
Nobody's gonna say anything.
Yeah, but then we were in Istanbul, the first shooting day, my assistant came to me, he was like, Karim, we're 3 minutes past the break time. And I was like, huh? What? Is that a thing?
You get breaks?
Yeah. So yeah, the cultural difference was a bit different, but then everything worked well, because the crew was huge. We're like Turkish crew, American crew, Egyptian crew, Saudi crew. We're like a lot of nationalities and a lot of cultures all working together, and I had to like balance all this. Again, sometimes you're not a director as much as you're like a manager of a whole company. You're like the CEO today.
Helping everybody with their issues.
Because this is also part of what you do.
Yeah.
By the way, when you solve an actor's problem, it's going to look good on screen. It's you do all this. You, as a director, you have to do everything. I'm not that kind of director who sits on behind the camera. I am always behind the camera. I was having this discussion with a guy yesterday, and he's like, you're the Tarantino kind of director, because I never sit at the monitor. You know, there's like the monitor desk and the thing. I never sit there. You might see me sitting there like reading a few scenes before we start, and that's it. Or if I want to see something like on the big screen after we shot it, I go back. But I'm just beside the actor, beside the camera. I look at the camera monitor, and I'm looking to the actor in their eye, like,
you see me, I see you.
and I just go on the ground, do what the actor is doing. We're like, this is how it works for me.
I think also, like, being a director, especially working with talent, is about managing egos, managing expectations of your talent.
Oh boy.
So how do you do? It's not easy. How do you go about doing that? Like managing, talent and their egos and their expectations, because you need to get the best out of them. But I think sometimes I talk to a producer, and she said sometimes managing talent makes her feel like a professional mommy. And I was like, you know what? I kind of get it.
Big part of what we do is actually managing talent, managing egos, managing your own ego as well, because most of us, we have egos, and with limits, of course. But sometimes the biggest role I see myself doing, look, I'll tell you something. One of the directors I worked with in Egypt, I was his assistant for years. His name is Tarek El Arian. Tarek El Arian is one of the biggest directors in Egypt. He's like Martin Scorsese in Egypt kind of thing.
Wow, yeah.
So he's like huge there. And I worked with him for years. And he used to empower me big time, because we used to like come up with creatives together and work on things together. And on set, he would just give me to go and work. And he told me one day, you're going to be a very good director on set because you have the character. The director is mostly character, and a producer as well is mostly a character. You just need the right character to know how to deal with all the moving parts around you. If you're a guy who can get easily pissed off, or you're a guy who can just get jealous or have ego problems or all this, you might be a good director, but then you're just going to lack something in between. Controlling the set and controlling pre-production and controlling the whole thing is like you hold it like this. You cannot let go. If you let go of any finger, it's just going to slip out of your hands. So controlling egos, yes, you have to. Sometimes you have to massage. Sometimes you have to be really strict. Sometimes you have to stand your ground. Sometimes you can be lenient. You just know how to pick your fights, etc. So it's an ongoing narrative of being a daddy or a mommy. But in the same time, you just have to. Control it. Otherwise, it would just slip out of your hands. Yeah, it's a very tough job. You're on set. You have 120 people looking at you, waiting for what's next. Yeah. My producer, one of the producers in Istanbul, she used to tell me when I was location scouting, I'm like. She calls me the Energizer Bunny thing, because I'm always like going, and Istanbul is like it's like ups and downs and the hills and stuff. I'm just like walking up and walking down and going here and going there and show me this place and show me that place and go down. And sometimes they hate me for it. And then every time she's looking, she's like, the mother duck is walking and all the other ducks is behind. She took this picture of me like walking and everybody else is walking. I was like, guys, you can stay here. I'm just going to do my thing and come back. So yeah, you have to be a good leader. So there's like a lot of attributes around being the director or the leader of the clan.
And give me your favorite moment you've ever had on set, and your favorite oh no moment on the set, where it's gone really good and where it's gone bad, but you saved it in the end.
Oh gosh. Favorite moment?
Yeah, on set. On
so I have a few of those. So let me tell you, you've watched 11/11.
Yeah.
So Saeed, the lawyer, he has this breakdown moment when he's in the car alone, and he starts remembering. He looks at the phone when his mistress call him and he doesn't answer her, and then he starts getting into this thing, and then he starts crashing and slamming and screaming and hitting himself and going into this. And that was a moment that I was preparing for. So Iyad Nassar, the actor who played Saeed, is like one of the biggest A-listers in Egypt. And he's a Jordanian actor originally, but he acts the Egyptian dialect as well. And he is one of those really charismatic actors and characters. And I had this time with him discussing how are we going to treat this roller coaster, this emotional ride for Saeed during this part. And it's shot like this, linear, but then we're gonna edit it and cut it and go back and forth in the edit. So I sat with him, we were discussing how we're gonna do it, we enter the car, and he goes like, and he starts, camera's rolling, there's another camera on the side, rolling, everything's fine. We finished it, and I started getting those goosebumps. I was like, cut. let me watch it. I watched it, and I was like, guys, this is one take. I'm not repeating it. So,
What?
yeah. So I told the camera, the assistant, the ACs, I was like, take off the cards, go check them, copy them, make sure they're safe, because I'm not doing another take.
Oh my God.
And he looked at me, he's like, yeah, we can do another. I was like, done.
You've got it.
That was shot one take. That was one of the, well, look, I have a lot of those, of course,
Yeah.
but this was like one of the highlights, big time. The oh no moments, I have a lot. I have a lot of oh no moments. No, it's just, well, we had a moment during the film we were shooting in Turkey, but that was not an oh no moment. It was one of those shots that we shot one part of it in a day, and because the sun was from here and the actors were walking like this. And then the second part, which is still outdoors, is still the same time frame, but they moved to another place. And we chose the place, everything is right. But then we had a lot of other things to finish more important than that. But then we were like, okay, let's shoot this one now, which is now the sun is here and they're going to be walking this way from right to left. And then the DP was like, Karim, it's not going to work. So I looked at him and was like, Hania, what do you think? Let's flip it. And he's like, yeah, let's flip it. So I said, we're going to flip it. So everybody looked at us. They have no clue what we're saying. And that's a lot of experience in this let's flip it thing. Because what we did is all the actors watch in the left, put it in the right, hairs from here, put it here, your bag is here, put it here. And you're just going to walk from left to right, and then we're going to flip it in the other, which looked awesome. Everybody was like, huh? We never did this before.
Oh my
But then again, I've worked with this guy at the DP. We worked with him for like 20 years. So the moment we looked at each other, we're like, let's flip it. We got it, you know? And that was the thing. Everybody was like, Karim, we learned something new today. We love it. Although it's something like so simple, but it comes with a lot of
experience.
Yeah. In our domain, I call it mileage, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I consider us humans who have mileage under their belts.
Been there, seen that, done that.
Yeah, and this is how you get when you're on set and you're monitoring what's happening around you. You learn things. I've seen it before. It's not like I invented it. It's just you've seen it before, and that was the right moment for it to apply it. You know. Oh no moments. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. That's a question I should have thought of.
No, it's fine. We're rounding up now. We have about 1 minute left. But before we round up, I always ask my guests to give our audience 2 pieces of content. Could be a film, could be a commercial, could be anything under the sun. In just 30 seconds, give me 2 things that you think people should watch, that you have watched and you're like, this is good and more people need to see it. Anything. Maybe something you're watching right now, or
what I was watching right now is actually what's it called? Oh my god!
It's okay.
Succession. I know I'm a bit late on that. Yeah, and guilty as charged. But I binged Succession the past month, and it's an amazing show. If nobody watched it, they have to watch it. And I'm a big fan of all Quentin Tarantino's films.
Okay.
Like, big fan. If you haven't watched, you have to watch Quentin Tarantino films. That's like, I know it's not what I do. I'm not that bloody. Even though when I had vampires, I didn't put blood there. But it was just like, he's an amazing filmmaker. He's a great filmmaker. Amazing. Yeah.
I love his work. I've seen all of it, but I've seen a good bit of his work. It's good.
Yeah, you see the craft in it.
Yeah,
you see there's a lot of craft in it. Yeah. And
brilliant mind.
Yeah.
And that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been such an amazing guest. This is the first time we're running over because I still have like 10 questions I didn't ask you.
I talk a lot, huh? I talk a lot.
No. It's because I'm enjoying it so much. I'm not even looking at this. I'm asking you a question based on what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's been such a fun episode and just so... I feel like I've learned a lot. It's been very impactful, even to me. Like, I feel like I've learned so much from you, just sitting and just like listening to you talk about your experience. So yeah, so I know that our listeners are definitely going to come away with lots and lots of insights and lots of tidbits and a lot of information, because I have, and I've been in the game for a little while.
Thank you.
So thank you so much to my favorite yes man on the show. Thank you.
Yes, man. Yeah. Always say yes. Never say no.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
That is it from us, folks. See you in the next episode. This has been my TV journey with Lola, with the amazing, the super duper, the visionary, the brilliant mind, Karim. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Bye.